we're back on a Thursday night. It's a little late, but we'll be here with you a little bit tonight and get you out of here before the roosters crow in the morning. Good to see you back here. Chris McDonald with you. We had a great interview earlier tonight with Star Parker, and we're going to get right into the videos here. Several stories we want to follow with you tonight, and trying to get this chair to operate right. It's good to see everybody. If you are out on the West Coast, it's not too late. It's only about 9:20, so it's about our regular time. And you East Coast folks, it's getting close to midnight, 11:30, and we're going to try to go an hour or so. We will take your questions here in a little bit, and we're going to get right into what we've got to talk about with you tonight. If you're on X tonight, we're having some real serious issues right now. We're not sure what's going on and why our show is not being picked up. We don't know if it's not sure if it's X. We don't know if it's X split. But if you're seeing us, I hope you're seeing well. You can see us now. So maybe we'll get some views on this tonight. But we normally, when we are on this late at night, we get at least some kind of mention on the right as to being on live. Oh, there we are. So we're on the top 10. But here recently, we've not even been on that. So we don't know what's going on X. But whoever's out there, give us a little shout out, help us out a little bit, and reshare our show. And but anyway, we're just grateful for those that are here. We're going to worry about those that are not. But we just hate having to deal with these social media platforms. Sometimes it can get challenging. But wanted to go to the Newswire tonight and look at a couple of stories that is breaking tonight. And we're going to look at Gateway Pundit first. This is a huge story that's developing tonight about the SAVE Act. Looks like we're getting closer to have a national ID required to vote in the elections, and I think that it is going to be very key to having voter integrity that we've been talking about, the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. U.S. House of Representatives voted once again pass the SAVE Act, 218 to 213. Only one brave Democrat, Cuellar, crossed the aisle in favor of protecting it. But the real battle in the Senate, and Thune is saying there's not anywhere close to the votes. He initially hadn't even signed on as a co-sponsor, ready to let the Democrats block this common sense. However, Paulina Luna from Florida is not having it. She blasted Thune on Wednesday night, slamming him for riding President Trump's coattails while ignoring the will of the people. He said, if you're going to say you're a Republican and if you're going to turn around and complain, I'm booing you in the House for wanting to pass the act, then maybe you should consider changing to a different job. And basically, Mike Lee has said that Thune has caved. But actually, following this capitulation, the floodgates opened Tuesday. 3 more GOP senators, Tim Scott, Roger Wicker, and Shelley Capito of West Virginia, have officially signed as co-sponsors. That's just moments ago. Dan Sullivan, through his full support, becoming the 49th co-sponsor. And Senator Lee is celebrating a victory tonight, as they should. And we should be happy about this. And I've got to give Mike Johnson a little credit. I'm not a big fan of Johnson, not a big fan of Thune, still not a big fan of Thune. But they just need one more vote to get to that 50 threshold to filibuster this. They need to cut this filibuster crap out. They just do. And it's baby steps to save this bill. And, Thune has signaled a meeting with Trump that the Senate is prepared to bring the SAVE Act to the floor without the modern abuse-ridden 60-vote blockade. And under a standing filibuster, the senators who want to delay a bill must actually stand, speak, and debate. Once debate ends, only 50 votes are needed for passage. If Republicans can enforce the standing filibuster, they can bypass the 60-vote rule and pass the bill. Just need one more brave senator. Hopefully we can find somebody with some kahunas. Because if you get to 50, J.D. Vance is ready to cast the decisive 51st vote to send this legislation straight to his desk. And most people are actually hoping that one of these jackanapes here, Murkowski, McConnell, Collins, or Tillis will do the right thing. Can't say they will. Maybe some Democrat on the other side will show some courage. Don't hold your breath on that. But it is getting closer to becoming a reality in this country that you're going to have to show an ID to vote, and that is good news. And I mean that. Here's the latest we've got tonight on the Guthrie situation. There's a new physical description of the abductor. They've upped the award to $100,000 for information leading to the individual that abducted her. They believe this man is about 5'9" to 5'10" inches tall with an average build. He's wearing a black. Of course, that could be 3 million people in the country at 5'9" to 5'10". That's not telling us a lot. But he's wearing a black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker backpack. That could be 1,000 people. This is... Anyway, I'm not going to say what I was about to say. But anyway, if you do have any information and you're listening to our show tonight, please call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Go to the FBI.gov website and put your tip in there. And, we don't know exactly where all this stands, but the FBI says since February the 1st, they've collected over 13,000 tips from the public, but no arrests yet. There have been a couple of people detained. There is the look at the bag that they said he had on his back. The gloves were found on the trail, and TMZ is following this. It's a shame that the regular news media doesn't have better coverage of this than TMZ does. TMZ's a rag. But anyway, just remember that. But Cardi B has run her mouth tonight. She's issuing a foul-mouthed leftist rapper threat against ICE. We'll let that stay. The tax the rich agenda has hit a wall as Mandami is trying to make New York Moscow, and it seems that he's coming up against some sensibly thinking people in the New York State Assembly. We hope that is going to stay. Maybe they will be the saving grace of the Big Apple. I hope they are. You got to love this. This is funny. I'll just read this, and then we're going to get some video tonight. David Axelrod, who was part of the Obama administration, that gave us this monstrosity of a healthcare albatross called Obamacare. And I've got to say something, folks. I went and checked. I was checking on some insurance rates as we get into this year and the next. And I was with Ambetter for about 3 years, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what the premium was with the subsidies, but even with the subsidies, that same policy that I've had from 22, 23, and 24 basically tripled. It's tripled, and it's in the thousands per month for basically a garage healthcare program. It's the lower end of their healthcare plans. And I asked my insurance guy, I said, what has happened? And he said, rates have tripled on this Obamacare, the marketplace. And he said the subsidies are down. You're not getting any credit for anything anymore. And it's pretty much, it's a meat grinder. I don't see how families do it. I don't see how people do it. I don't see how you all afford health care. I don't see how any of us can afford health care right now. But you can thank Obamacare for a lot of this. And unless you're working at a job and you've got some kind of Medicaid, Medicare help, I mean, it's almost impossible. But he's out here complaining tonight. This is the Democrat that was actually the architect of this thing. Well, he's complaining tonight that it's gotten too expensive. And he created it. This is the Dems. This is the left. This is the absolute insane hypocrisy of the left, of the Democrats. And folks, for those of you that vote for these people, I do not understand your reasoning. I don't understand why you do it. You know, I was talking about it earlier tonight. It's a free country. You can do what you want to do. But, you know, at some point, common sense has got to kick in. And we keep putting these people in power. But Axelrod is the biggest hypocrite. And here he is right here. He says, through family, I've heard that about a couple in Wisconsin who started a small business and were planning to expand now with their ACA premiums tripled due to congressional inaction. They've had to scrap plans and expand and grow. I'm sure the scenario is repeating itself. Well, guess what, David? It's not Congress's job. Congress wasn't the one that orchestrated and architected this, even though McCain, the late John McCain, and the late Paul Ryan basically sold the country down the toilet, and Mitch McConnell and others like that by voting to keep it in place. The Supreme Court betrayed the country. John Roberts betrayed the country. I was actually with my brother the night that ruling came down, and we just shook our heads. We had a chance to gut it, and Trump did by taking the mandate out, because at one point, if those of you that remember, you pretty much were going to get penalized on your taxes, and it was a very stiff fine if you didn't have Obamacare, and at least they took that out, and the Dems were never able to put it back in. But if they get back in power, I see that coming, because all it was just a money laundering scheme to transfer money from the wealthy to the poor, and these welfare programs and illegals, pretty much. But it's got to be rich. It's just rich that he would actually say this. And Scott Jennings said it pretty much: if we could only identify who wrote this law in the first place. That was you, David. Austin Harris, so what you're saying is the Affordable Care Act is not actually affordable. If we only knew who came up with this system, which was David Axelrod. And McGillis said, you know you're David Axelrod, right? You and Obama lied about Obamacare. You destroyed health care in this country, which they did. Dan Bowen, that's weird, Mr. Axelrod. I don't remember your concern back when ACA was passed and I lost my insurance. The only doctors my kids knew, and the replacement Obamacare insurance was triple the price and triple the deductible, you hypocrite. I'm sure there's some other names that people are using tonight. This is 2026. People's ACA premiums are tripling. I want you to listen to what he said in 2009. Watch this.
I have no doubt that once this bill is passed and implemented, the American people will appreciate it, and it's going to improve the lives of people across this country who are struggling in this healthcare system today.
Wow, let's play that again. It's a different tune.
That once this bill is passed and implemented, the American people will appreciate it, and it's going to improve the lives of people across this country who are struggling in this healthcare system today.
Okay, but now he's complaining and moaning like a girl that the premiums are tripling. No kidding, David. We told you. Conservatives told you. We conservatives told the world. We told everybody back in 2019, 2009, when all this stuff was going on, 2008, this was going to be a disaster. It was nothing but a money grab. It was a communist grab. It was a socialist grab. It was a socialist dream to do what they were doing with this health care, to let government take over. And folks, there's nothing. Ronald Reagan once said it: whenever the government's in control of anything, it's never good. It's never good when they're in control of your health care. And guess what? Everything that we predicted 17 years ago has come to pass. It's come to pass, and it's going to get worse. So spare me the crocodile tears, David. You're a hypocrite. You're worse than that, and I would use a few more vernaculars. But this is a family show. This is a family show. This is a late night report. Late night report from Trace Gallagher. This was just at 8 o'clock tonight. But there's a report that the FBI is saying that Democrat Pima County Sheriff is blocking evidence in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. And key evidence, according to this story, according to Fox News, DNA and a glove were found inside Nancy Guthrie's home. And Pima County Chris Nanos is blocking the feds from examining this new evidence. So that's the developing story. Here's Trace Gallagher tonight on Jesse.
It's a different glove. This is a glove that was actually inside the house of Nancy Guthrie. We don't know who the glove belonged to. We don't know if it was a random glove, but there was a glove inside the house that is now being analyzed at a private firm in Florida, and the FBI wanted that glove to be analyzed at Quantico in Virginia. So DNA inside the house and a glove unknown who it belongs to or what the context is on the glove, but a glove that was also inside the house, Jesse.
All right, Trace, thank you. Stuart Cap.
And we will follow that story on out. Here's the FBI. We showed you this earlier tonight. There's the backpack or a while ago, that's the backpack the guy was wearing. We're going to follow that out, folks. And, Eric Karen, if you all were with us last night, Eric pretty much slammed the local law enforcement people over this. They're the ones that are causing a lot of this grief. This may have been solved. And look, every day that goes by, and I I've got my own opinion about some of this, but for the sake of the family, because if it was my mother, I would be devastated. And I don't want to seem cold-hearted about Miss Guthrie's feelings toward her mother, because it is a terrible thing for the family. There's just a lot of crazy, weird stuff going on. I'm going to get your opinion about it in a minute, and for those that are out here tonight, and so forth. So we'll see what happens, and we'll take it from there, and hopefully that things will get worked out and so forth. Now, we got some wild video tonight, folks, here, and this is Carrie Prejean. I want you to listen to this. She got fired from her position on the Trump Commission for doing this last night. We're going to have a comment or two about it. This is former beauty queen. Roll tape.
Rabbi, sure. You're up next.
You're not sure?
Definition,
so what is the definition?
I would love to speak to that. Undoubtedly, anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, and undoubtedly, and one does not have to support the specific policies of the government of Israel, but to not support the right of Israel to exist, which is what anti-Zionists do, while not taking that same stand to the 28 Muslim countries and 13 Christian countries in this world, is a double standard, is hypocrisy, and is absolutely anti-Semitism.
Yes, it is.
I think it's also important that we not make Islamophobic remarks while we're here today.
Wow, Carrie. That's not Islamophobia. Are you kidding me? Are you joking me? Folks, let me say this to you. I don't know if you know this. When you hear this crap about anti-Zionism, it is a cloak. It is a cover for Jew hatred. You can't separate Israel's right to exist, her right to that land, and then turn around and say, well, I'm not anti-Jew, I'm not anti-Jew for their existence, but I don't think they can have that land. Well, where are they supposed to live? And this imbecile, and I'm being kind, I'm being kind. This is not all of that happened at that commission. She went after Kevin, I can't think of his name. I got the video here. But there was a very hard debate between her and another Christian voice on that panel. And she was defending all of this anti-Semitism. She ends this little video here, and the rabbi was right on. Rabbi was right on. It's hypocrisy. Because if the Jews are, as this bimbo says, does not have a right to exist, then why do the Muslim countries are never questioned about their land grabs? Why are the Muslim countries, and I don't want to get in the Christian, Muslim, Jew thing about the dynamics of that. What he was basically saying, though, is that Israel's the only nation that's always told you can't have and you don't have a right to that land that you supposedly have taken by force, which they've not done that. Israel has always been attacked first, and if they've ever taken any land, it was their land to begin with, number one. But number two, when you're defending yourself and the enemy that is attacking you loses their land to you, I'm sorry. You can go cry to your mama all you want to. You shouldn't have been lobbing bombs and attacking Israel in the first place to lose your land. But ultimately, any land Israel's gotten, it's hers to begin with. And I am totally against this broke board of peace. I'm totally against Gaza being in the hands of anybody else than Israel. I'm totally against this West Bank situation. I'm totally against the Palestinian Authority telling us what to do. I'm totally against it. And folks, I know there's a spiritual component to this. It's just not going to get solved. It will get solved briefly. It will get solved briefly by the Antichrist. It will. It's not going to get solved fully until the Lord comes back. It's one of the reasons we're studying the land on Sunday night. And we've not really gotten into the meat of that study about Israel and the church. We're really on Israel right now. We're going to bring the church into this study on Sunday night soon. But this is a lady that is on the commission, Religious Liberty Commission. She got fired today. Got upset about it. I want you to listen carefully to what she says again. Roll the tape.
Sorry.
Rabbi, you're up next.
You're not sure?
Definition,
So what is the definition?
I would love to speak to that. Undoubtedly, anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, and undoubtedly, and one does not have to support the specific policies of the government of Israel, but to not support the right of Israel to exist, which is what anti-Zionists do.
That's exactly
while
right.
Not taking that same stand to the 28 Muslim countries and 13 Christian countries in this world is a double standard, is hypocrisy, and is absolutely anti-Semitism.
I think it's also important that we not make Islamophobic remarks while we're here today.
Give me a
I would
break.
appreciate that.
Give me a break. That is not Islamophobia. And there she is. She has been fired by the Trump administration for anti-Semitism. I was interested. It was shocking to me. I was pulling up some Israel papers, and they took a hold of this story today. I didn't think it'd make news overseas because she was a beauty queen up in Kentucky, my north here, several years ago, and gained national attention because of an answer she gave regarding abortion. But she's all Candace, and I'm losing supporters because it seems like X is split right now. If you say anything about Candace positively, people leave you. If you tell the truth that she's a rabid, demonic anti-Semite, you lose listeners. So I'll just go ahead and tell you, she's a rabid anti-Semite. Her latest gig now is that she's accusing Erica Kirk of grooming 15-year-old kids, which is nothing but slander. And I pray to God that Erica Kirk sues her so much and sues her for enough money that Candace Owens will not be able to afford the microphone that she's speaking in. You cannot do that without paying a price, and there's no proof of any of this. Her whole story about Netanyahu killed Kirk, the Israelis killed Kirk fell apart yesterday. The guy she had on her show went on Piers Morgan yesterday, told Piers Morgan basically, he said, I made it all up. He said, I knew that what this would do would get people on the right fired up and start hating Israel and making people think that they killed Kirk. Well, that's who Candace interviewed. She's a rabid anti-Semite. So, I guess the part of you out there that want to love her and embrace her, enjoy your embrace. Carrie Pajan, in this discourse with the other gentleman, defended her and Tucker and told him to stop calling Candace an anti-Semite. It's a free country, Carrie. It's a free country. They can spew their anti-Semitism. It's a free country. But I'm going to tell you something. It's a free country, and we can call them an anti-Semite. And I'm glad you're fired. I'm glad she's fired. I'm glad she's fired. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. This is, what is this? By the way, if you don't believe, neighbor, that we've got, let me do this before I go to this other. This is Dearborn, Michigan today. This is Dearborn, Michigan. This is not Beirut. It's not Beirut. Fox News is reporting this tonight. Dearborn, Michigan. Roll tape.
Not a great look. The mayor condemned it. The White House condemned it. But what about Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib? She reps Dearborn. Is she okay with her constituents chanting death to America?
Of course she is.
Fox Business correspondent Hillary Vaughn asked her. Watch.
Congresswoman Tlaib,
Fox News. I don't talk to Fox News.
at a rally in your district, people were chanting death to America. Do you condemn?
Do not talk to Fox News.
But do you condemn chants of death to America?
I don't talk to people that use racist tropes.
Why can't you just say whether or not you condemn people chanting death to America? Why are you afraid to talk to Fox?
Fox News is not listen, using racist tropes towards my community is what Fox News is about, and I don't talk to Fox News.
Is death to America racist?
Fox News.
Is chanting death to America racist?
Talking about your guys' racist tropes. You know, you guys know exactly what you do. And I know you're Islamophobic, but you guys got to go deal with it on your own self. You're not going to use me.
I told Start tonight. There's so many phobias they've got for people that just don't want their heads cut off by Islamic people chanting death to America. I guess I'm an Islamic phobia. Is that amazing how that term is thrown around tonight? Carrie Fajon, we don't need to use Islamic phobia remarks. And now Rashid Tlaib says Fox is Islamic phobia for asking a question, do you have a problem with your city that you represent screaming death to America? Crazy. Crazy. I do. This is, let's see here. This is another interesting thing. This was a video that was posted today in our country about America. Roll tape.
فالله الذي لا إله إلا هو سنلاحقكم في كل مكان فنحن قوم نشرب الدم وعلمنا أنه لا دم أطيب من دم يهود فلن نترككم حتى نشبع من دمائكم ونشبع أطفالنا من دمائكم ولن يهدأ لنا بال حتى تخرجوا من بلاد المسلمين.
And that is somewhere up in Michigan as well. That was posted on a Michigan website. Roll the tape again.
فالله الذي لا إله إلا هو سنلاحقكم في كل مكان فنحن قوم نشرب الدم وعلمنا أنه لا دم أطيب من دم يهود فلن نترككم حتى نشبع من دمائكم ونشبع أطفالنا من دمائكم ولن يهدأ لنا بال حتى تخرجوا من بلاد المسلمين.
This is all happening within our gates and in our walls of this country. They're using our laws and our Constitution against us. And they're literally saying, okay, this is free speech. Well, he's literally saying to the Jews, my message is there's no God but Allah, and we're going to soak this ground in blood until you leave the Muslim countries. And by the way, folks, these are the people. Carrie Prejean, when she's saying you're Islamic phobia, well, let me give Terry Prejean a color crown lesson tonight. If I don't want the blood of Christians and Jews soaking the ground of America, and I look at you and tell you that's jihadism and that's dangerous, and that is not acceptable behavior in this country of freedom and democracy, and I don't care whether it's free speech or not, and you're threatening people to kill them and all, Carrie, that's not Islamic phobia. It's not Islamic phobia. Why we have directions on shampoo, and we have directions on people eating Pop-Tarts, and others like you, and Rashida Tlaib. Everybody's Islamic phobia that don't want that happening in our country. All right, language alert. Dan Bongino's back. He is back. But here is Anna Karspasian, and I'm pretty sure this is not AI generated because it sounds just like something she would say. Roll tape.
I don't believe Israel has the right to exist. I don't believe Israel has the right to exist. I don't believe Israel has the right to exist.
3 times. I don't believe that Israel has the right to exist.
I don't believe Israel has the right to exist. I don't believe Israel has the right to exist.
All right. In light of that, Dan Bongino responded to all of this controversy tonight a little bit, and we're going to get to Pam Bondi next. Roll tape. You got to listen to Dan. A little word, he's going to say something. It's not an F word, but a little language alert here at the beginning, but listen to the whole thing. Dan's back, and he's fired up. I hate that he left the FBI, but it's good to have him back, have his voice back on the internet.
Finally, there's a third class of people. The third class of people after October 7th went crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. I stand fully, completely, and strongly against anti-Semitic bullshit. I don't know how many times I got to tell you this. It's amazing how many people think it's like the current thing to say like they hate the Jews or something. Really? You believe that? You realize where that's led throughout human history, absent the immorality of it? Now, you may say, oh, gosh, Dan, I can't believe that that's actually happening. Really? I promise you, go look at the Twitter. The botting that does happen, and again, it's not all botting. The botting that does happen is very well organized. It is totally synthetic. It is all anti-Jewish nonsense. Read the comment. It's from like, I hate the Jews 101 and stuff. Just look at it. You can see it. It's so clearly fake. But it's an organized movement of people, and it's not a very large group of people, who've learned to amplify social media to attack anyone in the administration or outside who doesn't go and attack the Jews. 100%. Look and just read the comments. Don't take my word for it. Just go and look. Go look. You'll see it. It's everywhere. They all have the same goal. It is to dismantle this movement, take it apart from the inside, cause disruption, pick up the pieces, and rebuild it into something far different than a movement that actually conserves liberty. They all have the same goal. Libs, the anti-Jew crowd, and the Doomers.
Yep.
The exact same goal. Once you see it, you'll never unsee it. Look at the people sending out the messages. Look at who they associate with. Just listen to it. Just read the comments. Read their head. They don't even hide it.
No, they don't hide it at all. And let's see here. I thought I had that downloaded. Hang on just one second. I want to download this real quick. And this is the interview I told you about. Bassam Youssef. This was the gentleman that was interviewed by Candace. And he was on Piers Morgan today. And he admitted that what he was saying about Israel assassinating Charlie was just a bunch of crap. Roll tape.
Some of these bastards is never enough for you, you see. It doesn't matter how critical journalists are about Israel. It will never be enough for you. Because you want the right. You want the right to suggest that Charlie Kirk was the subject of a hit job by Israel. You want the world to think that. That's why you said what you said. And that's why when I asked you went, Netanyahu says it wasn't him.
By the way, I'm not even the only one. People are actually, here's the thing. If you continue lying to your people, right? I'll tell you what. Let's call me a conspiracy theorist, right? Yeah. Call me someone who is illogical. Call me whatever you want. If your government continues to lie to you consistently, this is where conspiracy theorists thrive. If you're not transparent,
why do you want to be one of them?
If you want to cover, no. I'm not saying I'm one.
Why float a mad conspiracy theory about Israel?
Because it's the internet, and I'm a comedian.
Okay, but it's not that funny, though, is it?
Actually, a lot of people thought it was very funny.
You have millions, I'm sure they did, but millions of people follow you, and you want them to think that Israel was behind the murder of Charlie Kirk. And you call me an ill-informed, irresponsible journalist.
Yeah, because I'm not a journalist. I'm a comedian. Remember, I'm a clown.
He's a clown and a comedian.
That's what I do. Oh, I'm a clown. Actually, I'm a comedian. Comedians are actually overpaid.
But I think you're somebody who is so blindly hateful of all things Israel that you'll even promote a conspiracy.
And he got him to admit that he was lying. He was lying about Israel. No joke. Here's Ron DeSantis today. I stand with Ron. I'm going to tell you, folks. I told my brother this today. Ron DeSantis 28, my friend. I'm all in.
And I don't care what imbeciles on college campuses say. I don't care what liars in the media say. I don't care what reprobates at the United Nations say. We stand with Israel. We stand with the people of Israel. The United States will have their back. We will give them what they need so that they can defend themselves. And that means not just a couple glancing blows. That means a complete and...
Not just a couple of glancing blows. Way to go, Ron. All in, brother. All in. This is Tom Holman today. This is Tom Holman today about 3,300 kids being rescued by ICE.
In addition to taking public safety threats off the street, ICE here in this state have located 3,364 missing unaccompanied alien children. Children that the last administration lost and weren't even looking for. That's because of the leadership of President Trump, these children were located.
Wow. And very interesting that the media is still trying to tell us that Tom Holman is the devil and that ICE is the enemy. By the way, this is ICE today picking up somebody on the street. The people in Minnesota were trying to keep the ICE agents from getting this guy. He only had 57 pounds of meth on him. Just 57 pounds. Roll tape. That's ICE arrested him, and look at the people around him. going over there trying to save the kid. Now there's the ICE agent. 57 pounds of meth, folks. Oh, such a poor kid. Such a poor kid. Such a poor kid. Oh my God. Oh my God. Again, this is why we have directions on shampoo and directions on Pop-Tarts. God bless Tom Holman. God bless Tom Holman and all of ICE tonight. I've got no sympathy, none whatsoever, for the lawbreakers that continue to break law. But Mr. Steve Cohen tonight tells us that the problem in America is not the illegals. And I'm not going to totally disagree with this, because there are a lot of American citizens that are walking around with 57 pounds of meth. But I'm going to tell you something. A great deal of this crime, and the reason the crime, folks, you cannot neglect the fact that we've got crime figures low as we've had for 100 years. You cannot negate the fact that it's tied to the last year of the illegals being thrown out of this country. The parallels are stark. The media is lying about it. They don't want you to know about that. But the two go hand in hand. But this is what my illustrious, he's in Memphis. He's not my representative, but he's from my state. Roll tape.
We need people working in the front lines and local law enforcement to protect our citizens from the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst are not the immigrants. The worst of the worst, records show, are native-born Americans, and they are committing crimes that hurt our citizens and our cities. And you're working against it, and thank you for that. But by trying to get our local law enforcement, where we have an undercount of officers in Memphis, to leave Memphis and go to work for ICE to deport people is a wrong priority.
A wrong priority. Wow. Wow. Because we've got leaders like this. Because we've got leaders like this. This is what we've had happen. I'll just let the video play for itself. Roll the tape. I'm going to play that again, neighbor. 35 reasons. 35 reasons I don't care about your ICE protest. I don't care if you think ICE is too aggressive in their handling of these poor illegals. These illegals with 57 pounds of meth on them. These poor kids. And that is that. And I will leave it at that. We're going to have more on the Kerry Prejean situation. I think here's the video I was looking for right here. If y'all will give me 1 second. And let me, this is Seth Dillon. I knew I couldn't remember. This is Seth Dillon, and I think he gave the greatest answer to her. If you'll bear with me 1 second, I want you to watch this video. This is Seth Dillon talking to Carrie Prejean about her comments at the Liberty on Religious Freedom, who's now an ex-member of that commission. Roll the tape.
You actually believe Christ is king. You can't say Christ is king, you dirty Jew, and call yourself a Christian. Christians worship a Jew.
Christians worship a Jew. I thought that was a longer video.
You actually believe Christ is king. You can't say Christ is king, you dirty Jew, and call yourself a Christian. Christians worship a Jew.
Yep, Christians worship a Jew. He gave her a greater discourse. There's a video out there, and I thought we had it downloaded, but we didn't. It's probably in my stack. It's just finding it at night. Sometimes we got so many videos, I don't know how we find the ones we do, honestly. But he let her, he gave her a pretty good lesson on Israel history, and I was proud of him. By the way, let's see. We showed you the kids singing last night. By the way, this is Grace Tame. She's the Australian of the Year. I ran this by Cleo, and she's not a good Aussie. And this is what she was saying yesterday.
We have to continue to mobilise, and we have to continue to globalise. Say it with me, from Gadigal to Gaza. Globalise the Intifada. One more time. From Gadigal to Gaza. Globalise the Intifada.
Globalize the Intifada. That is the big cry right now. Let's see here. A couple of other things tonight. This is Candace tonight.
You are asking me to be an idiot, actually, and I cannot do that for you. Someone once commented beneath this show that if the situations were reversed and there were this many verifiable lies that Charlie told regarding the murder or assassination of his wife, Charlie would be in prison awaiting trial. And I actually agree with that assessment. We are way beyond coincidence. This is now a full-blown conspiracy.
Yeah.